Well, he's had his say. Joining me now is filmmaker Ami Horowitz. Ami, do we believe him?
No. I mean, look, the whole thing is really incredible, right? You're talking about the party, the Democratic Party. We're the party for the rule of law. We're the party that wants all the governmental strictures that we had in the past. It's the Republicans who want to get rid of that. Yet when it benefits them, no. Let's forget congressional subpoenas. Those are not important. That law doesn't matter to the Democrats. It's incredible. And then, of course, look, here's a guy who hasn't paid his taxes in I don't know how many years. But, of course, Joe Biden is going around saying the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes unless it's my son. No, this is the situation we find ourselves in. It's ridiculous. It's so transparent. Look, I call it out on both sides. To be honest, I'm not thrilled with the fact that Republicans are going after impeachment for Joe Biden. I didn't like what they did Donald Trump. I can see why both sides are doing it. I find it awful. This is another example of that.
You're in LA. How's this playing out with the public? We all know California is a heavily Democrat state, but do the public care what Hunter Biden was up to when he was, off his face on drugs and, paying prostitutes and doing all that sort of stuff?
I mean, again, it depends where you are. So, yes, like you pointed out, I'm here in L.A. I'm at a Hollywood Christmas party. Spent a lot of time talking to some B-list celebrities. And when I talk about Hunter Biden, because, of course, that's what I talk about, no, they think it's all Republican craziness. They think it's the same way that we looked at the Russia persecution of Trump. They view it the same way with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. They think it's all about nothing, right? It's a hurricane in a teacup. I think I got that saying wrong, but you know what I'm trying to get at. But look, if you go somewhere else, if you go to the middle of the country, they think this is really important stuff. I think they're right? I mean, you're talking about the son of a president who avoid paying taxes, essentially used his Biden name for severely corrupt purposes to make millions of dollars, and didn't pay taxes on it. These are real issues. And look, the bottom line is, if this was Trump's sons, you better believe that Democrats would be all over this. You better believe the Justice Department would be the lead on going after that. We see that with Donald Trump. It's a political persecution. Look, at the end of the day, again, I don't like this tit for tat we have in our political society here in America. But the reality is, this is the game that everybody is playing, and we better play it. Otherwise, we're the ones who are going to lose.
Amy, you know the conflict in the Middle East as well as anyone. You've actually been there. A lot of commentators have been nowhere near it. I just was very surprised yesterday with the United Nations. Well, I'm not surprised. The United Nations did what it normally does, asked for a ceasefire, doesn't really understand the intricacies of what's going on. But is Joe Biden and the US, are they going to stick solid with Israel, or are they starting to wobble?
Look, I have, as everybody on your network knows, over the years, I have been a vociferous critic of Joe Biden. When necessary, I have attacked Joe Biden fairly, I think, and I like to call it as I see them. And I have to say that he has been up until now, a steadfast supporter of Israel beyond what I thought he was going to do. He's had a lot of pressure on his left flank. He is facing political pressure because of this, right? I mean, real political pressure where people on the left and a lot of the Muslim community in battleground states like Michigan have said they're not going to vote for him. He has been up until now a steadfast supporter. Having said that, and I take no joy in saying this, but when he said Israel is indiscriminately bombing Gaza, which he knows is so far from the truth that it's gross. Right. And of course, all of the media has taken that as saying, see, now Joe Biden is seeing the light. And I was just watching CNN just the other day. And Aaron and I can't remember her name now, but one of the CNN main anchors was talking to an Israeli spokesperson. And she said 17,000 civilians have been killed, which, by the way, isn't true. A number of them are Hamas members, but that's what she said. And she said, Israel claims, we can't verify this, but Israel claims that at least a third of them are Hamas members and Hamas militants. She wouldn't use the word terrorist. But it's amazing to me. She took Hamas's numbers for granted, right? Which came from the Hamas. This is not from any kind of verified source. It's from Hamas themselves. But when Israel said they've killed 4,000 to 7,000 Hamas terrorists, that she has to have a disclaimer for. So this is the problem that we're having. That is now getting to Joe Biden. This indiscriminate attack is terrible. It is nothing. It's not even close to indiscriminate. Israel has dropped 25,500 to 1,000-pound bombs in the most densely populated place on planet Earth. And not to make light of 17,000 deaths or whatever the civilian death toll is, probably more like 7,000 or 8,000, which is terrible. Not to make light of that. But for 25,000 bombs, only 7,000 civilians have been killed, or 10,000 civilians have been killed. That is a very discriminate number. That is not indiscriminate. If it was indiscriminate, it would be hundreds of thousands. But they just can't help themselves. It drives me nuts.
Ami Horowitz, always a pleasure to catch up with you, my friend. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Pleasure is mine.